All right, what's up, y'all? TC, the Spiritual Shepherd. Welcome back to the Spiritual Shepherd YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about fasting, a very important thing. This is also going to go into the breatharian path and some different levels of the breatharian path. I will get into liquiditarian. I'll get into OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. I will get into every other day fasting. I will get into some different studies from Ivy League schools. Of how fasting actually prolongs life. So we're going to get into a multitude of things, and then also a lot of like the uploads and the cultivation that I've experienced and I've seen and I've cultivated, but also along with the studies. There are some things that I do talk about. But if I'm looking down, it's because I have like a really good pair of notes. And so I really want to guide you guys on this different type of journey for fasting. Okay, guys. So one big thing with fasting is that everybody can do it. Everything, it's normal for everybody. It's actually more normal than to eat the standard American diet. Okay. Now, generally with fasting, your body just has to go through fasting adaptation, fat adaptation. Okay, so that is getting your body to be more into fat adaptation, which is ketosis or low level states of ketosis. Okay. Now, sometimes I do believe that these studies do not go deep enough, okay? Even with the correlation that they are from Johns Hopkins or they're from Harvard or they're from some national institute or they're from different Ivy League schools, I do also see that sometimes they do not go as in depth as the breatharian community understands through experience. Okay, so like the breatharians are like the bros of bodybuilding. They're like the ones that actually experience different things. They don't necessarily know all the science behind it. And yeah, I think it is good to be a little bit of both, like spiritual science or spirituality science and understanding stuff like that, understanding the science of your spirituality, understanding the quantum physics of how you can create manifestation and how you cultivate manifestation. In this case, fasting, you understand that putting yourself into the experience of fasting can actually raise your vibration to cultivate, to attract the things that you desire in your life or you believe that you already have, etc., etc. So I do believe that the breatharian experience and the breatharian community is already more in depth than a lot of these studies. Remember, science only goes so far and then comes God, all right? Science only goes so far and then comes God. Then comes spirituality. So one thing you can understand too is that science is studying spirituality. I know that sounds crazy, but magic is science that science hasn't overstood yet. They don't understand it yet. They don't overstand it yet. Magic is science that human beings do not understand just yet, but they are proving it correct, and they keep proving God more and more. And actually, the origination of science, the origination of science was to prove that God exists, not that he does not exist. I know this sounds very interesting, and I'm not saying a specific God, okay? I'm going to leave that open to interpretation and to the audience, because if I'm talking to different people from different religions, they're going to have a different perspective. And to leave it open for them is to be non-judgmental, which is exactly what God would be. So in the correlation, I would say that to go in depth through the breatharian path and to understand what fasting is, we have to talk about these studies. Okay, we have to talk about these studies. So in these studies, they're going to go through different types of things of the Mediterranean diet. I also want you guys to understand that in not even just these studies, there's literally thousands of studies on fasting. Okay, I cannot do all 1,000 on this video, but I want you guys to understand that every time that you intermittent fast, that you are consistent in your intermittent fasting, every 2 weeks that you intermittent fast, you add a day to your life. You add another day. So if you were to do every other day fasting, or if you were to do 2 days fasting, so 1 full day fasting included, so 36-hour fasting. If you were to do 36-hour fasting, okay, and then a 12-hour eating window, or even 40 Yeah, 40-hour fasting. I'm doing my math wrong, but whatever. You guys understand, a day and a half. If you do a day and a half of fasting every other time that you eat, so you would eat within an 8-hour period, okay? And then you would go on another 16-hour fast plus a 24-hour fast plus another 16-hour fast. So 16 would be, and you would do that every other day. This is this is like transformed breatharian path. This is probably a breatharian 3, but if you're at that correlation of your life, your longevity will significantly increase, okay? And there are plenty of studies that show this. Plenty of studies, science studies. Everybody always wants to understand the science of spirituality, and we've been doing this for thousands of years. We have been doing this for thousands of years. 555 on the right as I said that. Doing this for thousands of years. Okay, so every time you fast, you prolong yourself a day every 2 weeks that you fast, okay? While intermittent fasting in 16 hours every day, you are at least prolonging your cellular longevity to elongate the telomeres within the chromosome structure that's also within the DNA. This advances and lightens the days that you can live. So it enlivens the days that you can live, okay, on the planet. Every 2 weeks, you add a day. Okay, there are plenty of people who fast for 14 days. There are plenty of people who do. I'm not saying they do this all the time, but I literally follow this guy on TikTok where he is 145 or 144 pounds, and he can bench 315. He's 5 to 7% body fat. Okay, he can run marathons. He can run long distance with weighted vests. And I'm not saying he's some, like, David Goggins is just inspiring like a multitude of people. He's not this freak of nature. Wim Hof is not just a freak of nature. He's taught it to 12 different people and done studies on all 12 people, and then all of their biomarkers are completely significantly changed. Okay, and then not only that, but this person can bench over 300 pounds while being fasted for 14 to 20 days, and then also doing plenty of feats just like this and teaching people to do feats just like this, because fasting is where true strength is. If you understand that, if you grow your hair and also locks, if you incorporate locks into your ether, which is black melanated 9-ether hair, okay? What you would see as hair, it's different, okay? It's a different correlation between the oils, and oils is electroconductive, which means that it absorbs electricity, okay? Which means it stores electricity. It literally absorbs it and can build electricity. And then that's the crown of the head. It's the crown of the head. And so you're building electricity within the crown of the head. You are absorbing more light energy, which is exactly what melanin does. Exactly what melanin does in the eyes. Exactly what melanin does in the skin. Exactly what melanin does in the hair and the darkness of the hair and the darkness of the skin. Okay? And so as we cultivate this, even cultivate whatever you're predisposed with. So if you are black and melanated, then I would definitely say be out in the sun forever. Be out in the sun forever and cultivate your locks, cultivate your hair, build oils in your hair, start fasting, eat as light as you possibly can, be enlightened. And what I mean by be enlightened, not seek enlightenment, okay, is be enlightened, which means that eat light food. Eat food that contains light in it. Don't eat rice, don't eat bread, don't eat pastas, don't eat stuff that will bloat you, okay? Don't eat stuff like that. What you want to do is you want to consume things that have nutrient value. We're going to get into a significant amount of nutrient value in this different type of stuff. And with this nutrient value, we're going to get into nutrient partitioning, which is how the nutrients are absorbed within the body. We're also going to get into nutrient sensitizing, which is exactly what fasting and prolonged fasting and longevity fasting does. I also like to say it's pro-longevity fasting, because it says prolong and longevity. It's like a double entendre word. It's like chillax or Spanglish. It's like one of those words. Pro-longevity. It's pro-longevity. And I don't like to say anti-aging. It's more pro-longevity. That's really what it is. Just like nootropics does not mean brain drugs. It's not like that. What it actually does is it advances and trains your neurotransmitters to emit and transmit a certain way through through consuming specific types of nutrients. And what we're going to get into this is that you can cultivate this throughout your brain structure, your electrical system, your nervous system, which is your brain connecting to all the other different 10 systems, okay? Your nervous system, your lymphatic system, your immune system, all these different systems heal within the body. Okay, now let's really get into this, guys. Fasting is in multiple religious structures, okay? It's in multiple spiritual teachings throughout many different religious texts and books for thousands of years. Okay, and to think that this is just some coincidence, no, this is actually a very big correlation that we must come together as humans, literally as humans, and stop being judgmental to say my God's better than your God's better than my God, whatever. You know, like. Which is literally my team is better than your team. You know, I'm a Dodger fan. You're a Giant fan. I'm a Packer fan. You know, Like, and once you get into that type of stuff, that's creating separation. That's exactly why these things are so promoted. I'm not saying don't watch TV. I'm not saying don't watch sports. I'm saying that, like, be indifferent. Be a little bit more indifferent and be more stoic. I know it sounds weird, but like just watch it for the greatness of the athlete, and don't idolize the athlete, because you can literally be exactly where that athlete is if you were to train in those different types of parameters. Okay, and yeah, you might not be the same height or the same bone structure or the same muscular structure, or have muscle 2 fibers, or you have too many muscle 1 fibers, but if you actually understand the correlation of what your body is emitting, then you can be the top tier of what your body is emitting, which means being the best version of yourself. Okay, so this is a very big correlation, and it's what human beings need to bring to the forefront, and we need to accept and be non-judgmental and see that all religions and all spiritualities talk about fasting as a religious standpoint and steadfastness of who God is. And this is a correlation and connection between fasting and being truly spiritual and being in reverence to God. So instead of just saying like, oh, this is God, this is God, this is God, this is God, what we really need to do is we need to just teach the people how to fast, and then God will speak through us through the fast. What God really is, who God really is. Okay, and I know it sounds like triggering to you guys, but it's actually not that crazy. It's actually not that crazy. When was the last time you fasted? If you've ever fasted while you're watching this, I know it's triggering. When was the last time that you ever just fasted from meat? When's the last time you ever fasted from people? When's the last time that you ever fasted from TV? When's the last time that you ever fasted from the Matrix, going out into public? When's the last time you ever fasted from going out to eat? When's the last time that you ever fasted from coffee? When's the last time you ever fasted from alcohol or drugs? When's the last time that you've ever fasted from listening to toxic music? When's the last time that you've ever fasted from listening to toxic movies and toxic substances and toxic people? And just when's the last time that you've been tonic in your life? When's the last time that you've allowed God to speak through you instead of you speaking for God? When's the last time? When? And you can say when, what, where, how, who. You can ask all these different questions. You can go more into contemplation. Okay, and I speak so loudly because I'm passionate and proud, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful to exude the pursuit of voice that I have within my correlation to be able to speak truth. So yes, fasting is in multiple religious structures and spiritual teachings throughout humanity, throughout the existence of our generations, throughout our generational ancestral lineages. Fasting and prayer go hand in hand, and many prayers say, pray as if you already have it. Pray with thanksgiving, and it shall be given to you. Remember, thanksgiving gives thanks. Giving thanks gives thanksgiving. Giving thanks gives thanksgiving. Let's keep going, y'all. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video, obviously, but this is such a passionate video. Maybe I'll cut it into two different parts. A lot of times, daily fasting and daily studies are all about, so all of these general studies that I've talked about are about the Mediterranean diet, the 5-2 diet. So 5 days eating, 2 days fasting. Okay, which is great. 48-hour fasting. which I do believe that people who follow the standard American diet and eat pretty much anything will feel significantly better just by transmuting themselves into a Mediterranean diet and going into a Mediterranean diet, and which is more, balanced. It's more balanced. But there are the people who have already transcended the vibration of the Mediterranean diet, where people are more, I know this sounds crazy, but vegan or vegetarian or even in keto. Even if you are eating meat in the Mediterranean diet, you are in keto. You're in a different vibration than being just in a Mediterranean diet while eating, different types of things that are still allowed with carbohydrates on the Mediterranean diet, and different types of things like that. Now, anything that you feel like you want to eat is the standard American diet. And so by transforming into a Mediterranean diet will actually improve all of your biomarkers, okay, all of your organ biomarkers, okay, and your insulin sensitivity, your nutrient partitioning, your nutrient sensitizing, and your protein gene synthesis, which is just creating genes within your proteins. Creating proteins within your genes. Okay, so your DNA is made up of proteins, amino acids, 20 amino acids to be specific, and then 2 amino acids go into the RNA. But ultimately, RNA is a singular strand structure, and DNA is a double helix structure, which is ultimately what we want. Okay, DNA is what you want. You do not want RNA, which is actually limiting you, and it's actually making you dissipate. It's literally making you dissipate physically, and a multitude of things. I can guarantee it. So one thing about fasting with these studies that I've been talking about is that it talks about nutrient sensitizing. So the more that you fast, okay, the longer that you fast, the more prolongevity fasting that you have, the more nutrient sensitizing you have. What is nutrient sensitizing? It literally means that you can consume 900 calories. Okay, I'm not saying to do this. I'm saying listen to what I'm saying. Okay, don't just judge it based on calories and ego structures. But what I want you to understand is that if you were to consume like high nutrient stuff, but consume like 500 calories, and somebody else were to consume other different types of nutrients, but not as nutrient dense as with the food that you are eating, and they were to consume more calories, you would actually have better nutrient partitioning and look better and significantly have better biomarkers and live longer. You'd have prolongevity throughout your cellular DNA and your telomeres, and throughout your genome and your generational lines, your ancestral DNA and your ancestral lineage, your Solomonic lineage, your soul on lineage, which is son lineage, which is the light inside of you. I know this sounds weird and crazy, but you need to understand it. Solomon is the temple. Solomon is the temple. The body is the temple. And so as we understand and we bring more light into the body through the light structures of the food that we consume and don't consume. So if you understand what prana is and you start getting more into the breatharian immortality aspect of it, then you are literally breathing in light without consuming food through the breath. You're breathing in. And same with the Solartarian, which is you're going out and being able to consume sun significantly more. The two things that correlate with nutrient sensitizing is protein synthesis, gene synthesis, insulin sensitivity, nutrient partitioning. That's what nutrient sensitizing is. So a person who fasts becomes more sensitized to nutrients, becomes more sensitized to proteins, becomes more sensitized to carbohydrates or insulin secretion. So if you were to fast, you could actually eat less and get the same or better results than other people who eat more and don't fast. Like, it's literally spiritual. Literally spiritual. The correlations between hold on, let me see if I read that right. Yeah, the correlations between nutrient partitioning and nutrient sensitizing actually means that if you have more of a nutrient dense consumption of food, so you're eating more nutrient dense food, whether it's in water, liquids, solids, So Kangen water has more nutrient density and negative ions that you also consume through the balls of your feet, or the soles of your feet, through being in connection with the earth and not wearing rubber shoes. Because you're an electromagnetic being with an aura that absorbs negative ions from the earth, that actually allows you to cultivate your auric field and your light body, your rainbow body. So if you have more nutrient dense consumption of food, whether it's in water, so Kangen water versus tap water, liquids, so being more nutrient density rather than drinking soda, you're drinking like a high value, high dense, nutrient dense, smoothie or juice that has just everything's organic, everything's pure greens. Solids, or even solid food. So if you're eating, spirulina, if you're eating sea moss, if you're eating NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide. Yeah, I said that right. I be studying, bruh. I be studying. Nicotinamide mononucleotide. Okay, that's NMN. And then you add that, you stack that with resveratrol. If you stack that with resveratrol, you can almost already create pro longevity without even fasting. And then if you combine that and stack that with fasting, cardio, and lifting, which we're going to get into the training aspect of this type of stuff too. This is going to be a 30-minute video at least. This is a great video though. This is just stacked with just abundance. The correlation between nutrient partition and nutrient sensitizing, the more nutrient dense consumption of food, whether it's water, liquids, solids, depending on the high value nutrients, depending on how high value the nutrients are, you can actually consume less while still gaining the same benefit, or even better than someone who eats or consumes more and still does not fast. We've already kind of gone over that. These are all different, like my uploads, but it's also based on the correlation of the breatharian community, the breatharian experience, the breatharian 3 experience that I'm going through, and also the availability of the studies, the thousands of studies that I've studied, and the 7 years that I've been fasting or longer. So that's a big correlation, and also just many different things. Like I legit have not eaten in 2 days. That's crazy. Like I drink water, and I'll have coffee and water, and I took my creatine, carnitine supplements. That's liquid and stuff like that, but that's pretty much it. And I guess I did graze some fruit, but I mean, if you understand this, the same connection as with prana. As prana is in all living things, such as food, vegetables, or anything that contains light, contains pranayama, which is the cultivation of prana, which means that it's magnetized prana to build its sacred geometrical structure of food. So as this is and it creates food and creates photosynthesis prana, it's also light within the breath, or the breath light, that is really what it is. So breath light, so pranayama is breath light, and as you breathe in and become more magnetizing to the wind and the air and the I don't want to say the breath around you, but the breath of life around you. Okay, as you become more sensitized to the life around you, we're gonna get into all this type of stuff. I might split this into 2 videos. So as we cultivate intermittent fasting, okay, with also day and a half fasting, and then every other day fasting, day and a half every other day, this is going to prolong your sensitivity to many different things. It increases your vibration, the connection in unison with the environment around us, and it makes you more sensitized to the environment around you via your aura, which means that you become not only sensitized to food, but you can become sensitized to people, you become sensitized to everything around you, which makes you more of a high vibrational being. Okay? Every other daily fasting, this will actually improve nutrient partitioning, insulin sensitivity. I've been reiterating this, and nutrient synthesis sensitivity to have better positive feedback loops within the body to sensitize ourselves to our environments and our surroundings. So I know this sounds weird, but like this is a very important aspect. This is a very important aspect that you are sensitizing yourself to your environments, your surroundings that are around you. So this includes people, this includes stuff, and I can definitely attest that this is facts. This is truth because I trust myself. I've created trustworthiness within myself, and I'm worthy to speak on this, and I trust myself that I have the confidence to speak on this within the breatharian community, that are the people who can understand this, the people who understand exactly what I'm saying, that if you sensitize yourself to your surroundings, that means that you not only are attracting high vibrational, ley line places such as Sedona, Arizona, or the pyramids of Giza or the Mayan temples around you, but you're becoming more sensitive to building melanin within your body. You're becoming more sensitized to the sacred secretion. You're becoming more sensitized to raising the sacred secretion. You're becoming more sensitized to people around you. You're increasing your vibration and also creating barriers and boundaries to actually repel negativity around you and attract and magnetize positivity, riches, abundance, wealth, health, relationships, immortality, enlightenment, many different correlations of this. You're attracting and magnetizing even more and more and more and more throughout generations. So this is a very important aspect. This is profound. And it's funny because like as I'm writing these notes, I'm like, wow, this is so true. This is so true. Like, wow. And then I keep also, it just keeps awakening you. It keeps awakening So, so not only will our brain be clearer because we sensitize ourselves to our environment and our surroundings with the positive feedback loops that our body creates through the increasing of our vibration into connection with the unison of the environment and surroundings around us, but we create clearer brain fog, so less brain fog, and our heart feels more emotions and is actually more open. The anahata is actually more open because of our physicality is more in tune with Mother Gaia, the negative ionization of nature, and being more connected to absorb negative ions from Mother Gaia, the earth, from either the water or from the food that we consume. Okay, and here's the thing too is I know we keep talking about consumption, but you guys need to also, I want you to meditate on this, but like think about your energy production. So remember, your energy production has a magnetizing creation to it. There's two concepts of consciousness, where there's the conscious aspect and then the subconscious aspect, and then the unconscious is sort of a collective thing, as well as the conscious and subconscious thing is a collective thing as well. But there's only two aspects of the conscious and of consciousness, which is the conscious and subconscious. Okay, but I want you to understand that if you are consciously not conscious of yourself, I know. Okay, how can I put this? If you are consciously choosing to not be self-aware, that's a great way to put it. If you're consciously choosing to go outside of yourself for validation and externalization of your power, i.e. looking to other people to tell you what to do, looking for somebody else to authorize what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to live, if you are consistently doing that, that creates unconsciousness, which is just the shadow aspect of the conscious. That's what the duality is. But consciousness itself is unison, but the duality aspect or the dual aspect is conscious and subconscious. And if you are not consciously choosing specific environments to create better non-personal and non-selective aspects of your consciousness, then your conscious aspects will become more egotized through creating unconsciousness, which is the shadow aspect of being egoic and creating more personal and selective aspects. Now, I really think that too, one thing that we need to do is become more we need to consciously choose improving our subconscious realities. And why? Because this is transmuting into theta states and different correlations like this, but getting more into the consciousness aspect and transforming into the consciousness aspect and building the consciousness and the conscious aspects to help the subconscious is ruling 95% of your reality. And so as you train yourself to to just naturally emit a higher vibration, you will naturally attract and magnetize higher vibrations, such as riches, wealth, health, relationships, everything that you desire. So that's really what it is. Okay, so let's bust through this now. So yes, you will be able to absorb better negative ions from Mother Gaia Earth, from the water and the food that we consume, and also from the energy that we produce. So if you're consuming more prana, if you're doing your breath work, then you are not consuming really anything. You're just in connection with the light around you. And so that is going to increase your vibration and the productivity of your vibration. Produce, which means that it literally creates energy. I think the best thing for people who are on a standard American diet is to transmute into a Mediterranean style lifestyle diet. For people who are vegan, to go more into the fruit and maybe even the vegetable style diet. Okay, so just consume and not consuming soy, not consuming wheat, not consuming gluten, not consuming dairy, not consuming stuff like that. I know I said vegan, but even the vegetarians, stop consuming like specific foods that will create mucus or have anti-nutrients in the body. Also, for the people who are consuming mostly fruits or consuming mostly prana, to go more out into the sunlight and transform into more liquids and breath work to build consistently throughout your day. Cultivate the melanin of the sacred secretion and the cerebral spinal fluid of the body. As well as one big thing too is that if you are eating a standard American diet, maybe go more into the keto carb cycling aspect. I already have a video on that, which is getting to the aspect of you're eating keto for like 5 to 9 days, 5 to 10 days, and then you have a high carb up day, and this is training your metabolism to increase, through drums, really, through beats and through melodies and harmonies of the metabolism, because that's what the metabolism is. It goes like this. Okay, and so as you can increase the vibrational resonance and harmonic frequency of your vibration metabolism, then you can increase your thyroid function. Okay, which is Vishuddha, which is exactly what speaking is. So there's many cultivation to this. As you awaken, you become more awake. As you're awakening, you're becoming more awake. Okay, and for the beings who consume liquids, more to transform more into every other day or day and a half fasting every other day. So that means that you have an 8-hour eating period, 16 hours, 24 hours, 16 hours, 8-hour eating period, 16-hour fast, 24-hour fast, 16-hour fast, 8-hour eating period. This is transformation. I know it might be kind of hard, but that's how you transform. Okay, it's just like metabolism and money and beats and math and music. It's all like that type of stuff. And time and energy. Money, time, energy, currency. Just like a current. Just like a wave current. It's just like many different things. So, okay. And the day that you are eating and you are still intermittent fasting for 16 to 20 hours, so yeah, you can even prolong it to 20 hours. So you can even prolong it like that and have a 4-hour eating window. That's how you transform too. Okay? This will put you into a more alkaline, anabolic, and androgenic state by the way that you train. So right here, we'll cut it off and we'll get into the training aspect, into the alkaline, anabolic, and androgenic state. So you guys have a wonderful night, a wonderful day, wherever you are. Peace, love, and light. I love each and every one of you guys. Check out number 2.